Now, beloved within the Christian church, and within the Seventh-day Adventist church as well, and between the Seventh-day church as well. This is an urgent message called David Gates, God's Secret Calendar, the Feast Days, Passover, and the application of time. Now, beloved, here recently Pastor David Gates came out with a message describing his understanding of the feast days. He came out with it with Pastor Arthur Brandy a couple years ago, describing how we're not saved by keeping the feast days. We can go closer to Christ by eating a certain type of breads and drinking certain kind of saltine water on that day and crying out to God, and eating the Passover crackers and praying to God, and not doing much physical labor on that day, but examining the heart. And I see totally out of eye with David Gates on that, beloved. Totally out of eye with him on that. And you know what, beloved? If somebody wants to disagree with me, they can. If citizens totally disagree with me, they can. But let's examine the truth with me, beloved. In Exodus, the Bible says Passover in Exodus is a perpetual sign. So Passover is a sign for all generations. And this is why it says in Herod in the last days, people beside just the Jews will keep keeping the feast days, keeping the Passover, and being cleansed of their sins, beloved. So not just communion and baptism are for holy festivals, so also Passover, beloved, and Pentecost, and Yom Kippur. Now, beloved, we need to take heed to that, be mindful of these holy festival days coming up and commemorate them. We don't have to keep these days as a Sabbath. Colossians 14:16 says that no man judge you for meat and drink for respect of a holy day, or the new moon of the Sabbath days, the bodies of Christ. So we know that these certain feast days will fill the cross for our sins. We can't commemorate them to see how relative they are to our soul salvation and to deliver Israel out of Egypt, beloved. And beloved, when it comes to the homosexual agenda, all these sins will be released from God's people, and even adulterous sins when they keep the feast days and they go close to Him and keep God's holy Sabbath day once a week, beloved. That's what God is calling us. He's calling us to the pureness of life, the pureness of life in these last days, beloved. That's what God is calling us to in these last days. But just to let you know, Bible says Passover is a perpetual sign. That's key, because it's not just like any other holiday, like Purim and other holidays that Jews keep these days. It's a perpetual sign for all Christians, beloved, and Jews and Gentiles that join the faith, beloved. What does a perpetual mean? Perpetual means that it's continuous throughout all your generations, beloved. And they were dealing with this argument in the Jerusalem Council along with circumcision. The circumcision is our cry for salvation. Baptism is. We are called out one, chosen of God. But Passover, unlike circumcision, is a perpetual sign through all your generations. That's what the Bible calls Passover, a perpetual sign through all your generations, beloved. And we need to take heed of that. And remember how God marvelously delivered the Jews out of bondage to their Egyptian masters and killed their firstborn and said, "You must let my firstborn go and worship God in the wilderness, beloved." That's what He told Pharaoh, and Pharaoh hardened his heart. That's why his firstborn son died. And that's why all the Egyptian firstborn animals and firstborn sons died in Egypt, beloved. And they went out in a mighty overthrow of the Egyptian army, community, and family and goods, beloved. Now, beloved, we have in this church, I don't want to bite my tongue. There's 7 in the church at this time for not keeping the feast days, for not observing the feast days, commemorating the feast days, like Passover, like Pentecost, like Yom Kippur, are shortchanging themselves. I'm not here to condemn or judge them or lambast them, but no, they're on the wrong side of the question, beloved. The wrong side of the question. David Gates is right. We need to commemorate the feast days like Passover, Pentecost, and Yom Kippur. The Bible says, "Work all your own salvation with fear and trembling." These feast days help us work out our own salvation, fear, and showing, beloved, so we can be able to have the personal relationship with God, the intimate personal relationship with God on a constant basis to help us get closer to God, along with our Sabbath keeping and our tithe returning, our Wednesday night prayer meeting. We need to keep as many holy days as possible just to stay closer connected with God. And beloved, the homosexual agenda. When we do this, we can break free of all those evil sins like homosexuality. Now, this year, Passover will be for April 15th and 22nd, beloved. That's a 7-day period. Be there, be square, beloved. Be there, be square, beloved. It's time to make an end of sin, reconciliation for iniquity, anoint the most holy according to the Bible, Daniel 9:24-27, and also to do what the council of Hosea 4:6 says. So Hosea says, I will return and revive. It says, Hosea 4:6 says, I will return and revive. I will mourn and cry for my sins. I will sigh and cry about my nations of the land, according to Ezekiel 8:19, Ezekiel 8:16, 9:1-6, and I will give you my prayer, O Lord. So now is the time for that time right now, beloved. Let us pray. Father, thank you for this day. They all want mercy and blessings on. Please reach your people. Please let them get the heart of Christ. Please let them commemorate the feast days over. It comes on April 15th, 22nd. So especially Passover. Passover is the holiest time of the year because we're commissioned by God to come to the house of God 3 times a year for these solemn feast days. So we're not cut off from your people. People cut off from your people. Don't let these people be cut off from your peoples by forgetting to keep the feast days and be lost. Just Christ, our prayer, man. God bless you. Happy Sabbath, beloved.